All right, you can just feel like the sigh of relief throughout the planet, and I mean the planet, because people wait and see is Mark coming on? Is Mark coming on? So we're a little bit early here with Mark Puttenvink. It's the NHL trade deadline today, so I've got to do a couple of the podcasts later on in the day for the trade deadline.
Right.
Yeah, well, it's funny because you now being more the media side, you're talking more like it's a fun thing. But I remember back when I got traded to the trade deadline, it wasn't so much fun.
Not so much fun.
Yeah. So just everybody be sure it's Mark Puttenvink. He's got patriottraining.com. Fantastic trainer. I've learned a lot from him. We're good friends. He'd worked for the Rangers many years ago. We didn't know each other until we both got on. We were both on Facebook. Friend of each other, right? Yeah. So again, I've learned a lot. We were just talking about the Jefferson deadlift. Everybody, you probably want to look up a video of it. So deadlifting to me, and Mark has talked about the same thing. It's kind of like a spirit. It's a spiritual journey. It isn't just about lifting weights because you got to put your heart and soul into it. You're tightening your core. You're doing everything. But it can be a little bit dangerous because you're leaning way over with it if you try to get some heavier weights. So this Jefferson deadlift is a way to get more on top of the weight. So you're pulling it straight up as opposed to hinging out over top of it. So good stuff. I may post later on that picture.
Yeah, put that up. Yeah.
You've been doing a lot of it. You had an interesting day. Was it yesterday you were up on the hill with Bill? You guys are running?
Yeah, we had a couple guys up there. Yeah.
So Mark does a lot of training with the Navy SEALs, all kinds of military personnel. A good friend is I guess you should be a little bit careful with his name, but he's
fine.
Okay, Bill.
Yeah.
What's Bill's last name again?
Brown. Bill Brown.
Bill Brown.
Yeah.
Is that the real name or is that a fake name he made up? Bill Brown.
No, that's a real name. Mine's fake.
There's fake. That's right.
Yeah.
But Bill's a fantastic guy. He plays not just plays. He's I think the guy that started the whole swim across the Hudson, correct? And he put it all together the first year.
So what happened was we were training Tuesdays and Thursdays at 6 a.m. And then one morning we're walking out of we got done training, and he looks at me and goes, why don't we do a swim across the Hudson River? It's never been done. And it really wasn't. And I looked at him and said, no, first of all, stop with the we. And that's how it kicked off. And we got to talking. And at first it was just going to be just Bill and then Johnny, another guy. They were just going to do it. And then as it kind of it gathered some moss and became really rolling. And as you know, we're going into our 4th year now.
It's a blast. And I'm so proud to be part of it too. We just hang out more than. But Bill's a fantastic guy. Everybody meet him. He's very personable, very caring about other people. But he's a leader too. So we were this last swim. They expanded a little bit. There's more women involved in it. This one really nice woman got hypothermia and was shaking really bad.
Right.
So most people there all had the shirts off. They're all swimming. So you and I working there, we had T-shirts on to signify that we were working at the event. So I gave her my T-shirt, and she was very sweet and everything. And they put blankets on her. She says, "When I go to leave, can you remind me to give you your T-shirt back?" So I feel kind of awkward about it. I said, "It's a T-shirt. I can get another one." And stuff like that. And, she said, "No. I want to make sure she's really nice." So we go to get up to take her off the barge where they were. And I said to her in front of Bill, I said, "Do you want to give me back the T-shirt now?" Because she'd asked me to do it. I felt awkward to do it. He didn't know the other part. He just thought that I was asking for the T-shirt back. He goes, and again, you've said this about Bill before. When it comes time to be the leader, he's the leader. He goes, "Oh yeah, I'll get you another T-shirt like that." I said, and she didn't know what was going on either. But
and again, because you and I, we're not SEALs. We're more like guppies. But anyhow, 2nd year was the COVID year. So we had all kinds of restrictions. I was surprised we really were able to get the swim off, but we did.
Right. Yeah.
And that was your first one. That was the first one you did. Second year.
COVID year was the 3rd year. This is the 4th one coming up, right?
Yeah. You're right. I'm sorry.
Yeah. So I did I did 2 and 3. Yeah.
Yeah. So any event, I've told the story probably before, but about a week before the event, I found out there was an issue with the ships we were going to use. We had used Army Corps of Engineers and NYFD, and because of COVID, all that kind of stuff. So I called Bill up. This is a week before the swim. I said, "Bill, run into a little headwind here." He said, "What's going on?" I said, "NYPD and Army Corps have pulled out because of COVID." And I thought I was going to hear this like panic, and he just 3 words: "We move forward." Hung the phone up. So he kind of sent a message to me like, "Just get it done. I don't want to hear how you do it. Just get it done."
I mean, when they speak, he speaks in front of the whole group before they go for the swim. Many people do. There's got a few presentations, but he talks like, "You are a beautiful man. And it's
Yeah.
a beautiful country. Like nothing is just halfway. It's not just like you're good guys or like that.
Right.
You're beautiful. And he speaks like that too, like that voice, like he's commanding. I'll tell you the first year I went and they did that whole thing before they're at that monument at Liberty State Park. Everybody spoke and they had the Marine get up and give that speech that he gave. Yeah. Man, I could have ran about 100 miles. I was so fired up. It was unbelievable. Yeah.
It's funny you mention that because I just watched Bill's speech this morning.
Oh, did you?
Yeah, I was in the gym and I was talking to a woman about the swim and she's interested. And I played that speech and she's like, "Oh my God."
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. When that Marine gets up, he does that. What's it? Constantine. What is Constantine? What is it?
Concertina wires, barbed wire.
That's right. Okay, that's
right.
Yes.
Yeah.
Good. And you touched on an interesting point there. I just feel a little awkward around me, and not their fault because most times when we're in somebody's presence and you've been a hockey player, everybody thinks, you're really a tough guy, Right. But then you get around these guys and you almost feel like disrespectful. Like I don't want to be viewed as a tough guy when I'm in the presence of these Navy SEALs, because yes, we may be tough in terms of hockey, but these guys they're warriors, right? They're putting their lives at rest. So it's almost
what they're cool with it. They identify it, like Kenny and Kenny Bigby and Will in particular. Because I'm with Will much more than I am with Kenny because Kenny lives in Indiana. But he'll say, "Yeah, Mark, we're a couple of rough and tumble guys." So he like they are who they are, but right. I don't think they can discount that other people can be maybe not a Navy SEAL, but can have some attributes.
Right. Yeah. And Bill's a lawyer now too, correct?
An attorney with McCarter and English, which is the largest law firm in New Jersey. And, the veteran is the best guy or woman to hire.
Yeah.
Because you give them a task, they don't come back and say, "Hey," no, they just get it done.
Totally. Yeah. So I posted videos about it. How long ago did we go do that shooting in Pennsylvania?
I want to say that was, wow. 2.5 years.
Was it that far?
It was prior to COVID, I believe. I think.
Yes. Yeah, I think it was maybe COVID just right around there. But
I think we did the shooting in October, November, and then COVID hit right after that.
Right. So kind of as a gift to us for helping out, I guess that's where it was looked. There's one gentleman had a farm out in Pennsylvania. And so Bill Bill was the only Navy SEAL there. And then your buddy
Bill
John,
was the only SEAL there that day.
Your buddy John has got some training as well. So they put us through some tactical shooting.
Yeah.
And when we got there, now I've shot shotguns before and pistols a few times, but nothing extensively. So you get there, you're a little bit like thinking, okay, is this safe or what? But thinking, with Navy SEALs, that's going to be fine. And so I'll never forget when Bill gets up and he gets the presentation at first. He says, "Okay, now you're going to be the tourniquet applier. You're going to be the driver to the hospital, and you're the backup driver." I'm thinking, driving to the hospital? What are you talking about?
Yeah.
And because we were using live rounds, live ammunition, and he says people get shot in training, and I'm thinking. Now he did a fantastic job, I thought, though. That by the time he got done teaching us, we felt totally comfortable shooting the guns.
Yeah. It was a great experience, and so yesterday we met up daybreak. We went up top of the mountain. When I say mountain, it's it's pretty far up, but not a mountain like Mount Everest. Right. But anyhow, so we got up there and it was just gorgeous because you're looking down into the valley and the sun's coming up. And then I was teaching them some hand-to-hand stuff and knife defense and all that kind of crazy gobbledygook. Right. But it was a great morning. It was really good.
How much hand-to-hand combat do they get trained as SEALs?
SEALs, it's quite a bit. I mean, CQB, close quarter combat. I would say they're exposed to an enormous amount of different things, and they learn a little bit about a lot.
Right.
They're proficient in certain levels of things, but there's quite a bit of it. Now more than ever, I think, because it looks like conflict from here moving forward looks like it's going to be urban, which is door to door. And that's why we're doing another, I'm doing it with Will and a couple other guys in April, breaching a room, which means going into a room where there's bad guys. And it's a coordinated effort. There's some technicalities to it, and it's a learning progression. So we do this April 8th and 9th for SWAT teams and law enforcement.
Wow. Yeah. So they come to you and you train them in that?
Yeah. Well, we're going on location down in Pemberton, New Jersey. And it's a paintball area, but it's a couple hundred acres. They have Connex boxes, they have school buses, they have little towns set up. So you can really, with Simunition, which is like a M4 rifle, you can do a lot of hostage rescue, that kind of stuff, where you're going to have to breach a room and go and grab somebody.
Maybe you could bring this Billy Kondradidiak with you here. Putz needs to do his own show. He has too much time.
Bill, did you get that check I sent you last week?
No, but this isn't just you. This is a constant harassment from this gentleman.
He's great. I love him.
He's actually a really good guy. He's pretty funny. I hate to give him credit. Say he's funny, but he's got once in a while.
He's a great guy. And he's a uke.
That's right. Did you watch the Ranger games over the weekend?
You know what, I did, and what can you say? I mean,
yeah. Well, the only thing they played, I thought they played really well against Tampa. The problem with Carolina was all over them, and Carolina's a good team. Yeah. But the good thing is, you see that Georgiev, how well he played, and
if you can find a way to win, that's, as you know.
Yeah.
Some nights you're going to be on, and other nights you're going to be shit, but you still win. You find a way to win.
And that's where Gallant is good too, or Gallant, he likes to be called, the coach there. Now, when he gets and does his press conferences, he really stresses that. He says, "Well, we didn't play our best. We got great goaltending. We found a way to win."
Yeah.
So I really like him a lot.
I don't know him. I don't know much about his coaching, but I get the sense that it's like, keep it simple.
Yeah.
Be accountable. Do your job, and we'll have fun here.
Yeah, he doesn't try to overcomplicate the game of hockey. Right? It's not about him and his coaching. It's about the players going out and doing their job, and that's. I've talked a lot I can't go both ways on, like the coaches like Mike Babcock and Ken Hitchcock and those guys. They wanted to make it all about them and all the stuff that they do. It's not about them. I mean, listen, it doesn't mean they're not smart hockey guys, but hockey's hockey. It's not that kind. I mean, there's different strategies there, but yeah.
Well, I loved how when the Devils won the cup, it was all about the trap. It's just a forecheck. It's just an aggressive forecheck and trying to get the D-man to force him to his backhand side. So that it's not such a great pass.
Yeah, definitely. So I got a bone to pick too, not with you, but just in general. I'm a big football. I love watching football, but was it Deshaun Watson signed the contract he was in Houston and then so I have a problem where, and I guess I get it, it's about winning and making money, but here's the things that he's charged with. I guess there's no legal charges pending. It's all civil stuff now, but all the women that he supposedly abused or that he's been accused of abusing, I want to be careful the way I phrase that. That's really a pet peeve of mine too. We got to be careful. The people that have potentially been abused, they have the right to come forward, and we shouldn't be doubting them in any way. That's one of the things I've learned, that people sometimes are afraid to come forward because they don't think they're going to be believed, and we need to make sure that they are believed. So, but then he got all this is still pending. He could get suspended next season, and then he signs the richest contract in the history of the NFL, the most money guaranteed and everything. So,
yeah, they've had an issue. The NFL's had an issue with this, with Ray Rice, with Peterson, with his
that's right,
being accused of abusing his children.
Michael Vick with the dogs.
Michael Vick with the dogs. So yeah, it hasn't tarnished the league's image tremendously because people still want to watch football.
I know. The sad thing is, I think there's such low expectations for some player.
Exactly.
Which is sad because there's so many great athletes out there that are doing great things in the community, great family.
JJ Watt.
Yeah.
Guy like that.
A lot of guys, yeah. But it's almost like when the guys get charged with this stuff, it's like nobody expects. It's just the way it is.
So we had our charity game Friday night.
Oh, that's right. Yes.
Yeah. Sorry about that.
No, that's fine. Who is it? I want to listen.
Best brother calling for her. Probably to talk about me again, but that's okay. He's right. He's right about it.
Why? How wonderful you are to me.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So yeah, we had the game. Bill came down.
I saw that.
Put everybody through 22 push-ups on the ice, and Colin White came and he dropped the puck.
Just to be clear, just back up, and that's important to me. I think the 22 push-ups on the ice. There's an average of 22 suicides every day amongst
in the veteran community. Yeah, so it's our way of creating an awareness. So we're just aware of it and try to do what we can to help these guys. And that's kind of where Ted and I are with all of this, because we realize at the end of the day the hockey's fun, we're having a great time and all that, but it's really to help them.
So that was with the Warriors program that you.
Yeah, we played the West Orange Fire Department charity game. So it was all first responders, and when Will spoke, he made sure to include them because that's really a big thing with the swim last year was with the first responders in New York Fire Department and EMT and everybody like that. But so it was a good game. We were up 7-2, and we had 4 goaltenders.
Oh,
So I said, you'll each play 10 minutes because we only play 15-minute periods. So you'll each play 10 minutes, and at the 10-minute mark, the next whistle, you come out. So each guy got like 11 or 12 minutes. So we put in, I won't mention his name, but one of the most fantastic human beings you'll ever meet in your life.
Right.
And in 30 seconds, it was 7-7 when we put him in net. You know.
Now, does he feel bad about that, or?
Yeah, he really is competitive, and it's funny too because he never played hockey before, and God bless him. And the thing is, he's really into it, and which is great. And there's nights like when we were in the Warriors Classic in Philly, we played Dallas in the final, and he was making saves. I mean, I was like making 2 saves, right? The other night, not so much. Not only could he not stop a condo, I don't think he could have stopped a continent. It was that bad. So now it's 7-7. The game ends, and they're like, "What do you want to do?" I said, "Let's go 4-on-4, 5-minute overtime."
Right.
And we did. And they took a trip. It was a legit call. The guy had to call it. I mean, so now it's 4-on-3, and Ryan Miller, he's on the point, came back to him. He let a clapper go and went in. And I said, well, I had the right guys on the ice. I mean, Ryan, that was an okay shot. It wasn't great. It was my call.
No coaching, no question.
Yeah, but it was good. We raised a lot of money. We had a goal we wanted to reach. We came pretty damn close to it. Because what we want to do we figured 2 charity games will cover the expense of 1 tournament for the team to travel and stuff like that. So,
cool.
And there were fans there. It was funny too, Tom, because you're a hockey guy.
Yeah.
Is it hockey? Well, it's technically hockey, but I don't know if you want to call it. We have like 2 guys that can play, right? The rest are recreational players. But when we scored a goal, I'm looking at some tape. You see people in the stands high-fiving each other. So that's pretty cool. Yeah, and the best part about this is the first game they've done this. And I don't know why they don't do this consistently. So when our player coach, our captain, played a little bit minor. Remember that Western Pro League, the Whipple they called it? He played there for a bit, and then went in and became a Navy warfare officer. But when he scored a goal, they said, goal scored by number 5, Bob Gianella, U.S. Navy. So that kind of added like a little kind of cool thing to it,
That is nice.
Yeah,
that is very cool. We had that when we played. God, it must be 4 years ago now. Boston. We had a charity weekend. Really, we played a game up in Boston, and then the next day we're going to play a game back at Madison Square Garden against the Bruins. And the charity of their choice of that was the Navy SEAL Foundation. Yes, Navy SEAL Foundation. And so there's probably like 3 team guys on our team and 3 on the other team. So I got to be buddies with this one guy, big tall guy. He's from Connecticut here, fantastic guy. I got a picture of him I posted a long time ago. I was so fired up. He's got the whole the blue, the dark uniform on with the white collar and the whole bit.
Yes.
Thing.
Yeah.
I'm standing at the suit, man. I was so fired up. Get my picture taken. It was funny. We're out on the ice the next day doing the national anthem before the game, and he's standing beside me. He goes, "Tom, I'm really nervous." Now, I've heard some stories about this guy, some of the stuff he's done in battle. And I started laughing at him. I said, "You're nervous," but I guess. He'd grown up being, wanting to play hockey. So he was out in the ice.
Sure.
NHL guys. Yeah. So it's pretty funny. We stayed in touch. He's really a great guy. He's still in service too. But some of the guys like no, another guy. He's never wanted me to use his name. Yeah.
Yeah, no, that's cool.
Yeah. He's funny though. He's from Connecticut here. And he comes up every once in a while, so we stop and get together. But he's a real good family guy and everything. But when you talk to him, he's just like he's a big guy, and he's kind of sweet almost and everything. But some of the other guys have told me some of the stuff that he's done, like to protect them. Like he won Bronze Star or Silver Star or something like that. For like he had one time in a battle, guys were all pinned down, and I guess I'm not telling his name, so I'll tell the story. So he's one of those cases there on the rooftop, and he stood up with about 200 rounds in a MK50 or can't remember what the gun.
Yeah, 50 cal. Yeah,
50 cal. Yeah. And just the bullets are whizzing by all over the place. Nobody else is taking cover. And he stands up, just starts blasting this 50 cal so the rest of the guys can get out of there. And it's funny, like somebody told me the story. We were out having a couple of beers one night. And I says, "I just heard the story about you." He says, yeah. Yeah. Funny stuff.
No, they're incredible human beings, and thank God they're on our side. Is all I can tell you.
Yeah, no kidding. Have you? I know we touched on this before. Have you kept in touch with a few guys now with all this conflict going on with Ukraine?
Yeah, we actually had a Zoom call last week, Tom, just to kind of get a feel how everybody's doing. I don't think they were affected by this as much as Afghanistan withdrawal.
Yeah. The guys I talked to seem to be the same thing. The Afghanistan one, they were actively involved in that. And So Mark and I got a bunch of buddies that from different things that are Marines, Army, Air Force. So a lot of times they go through a lot of tough stuff like this is going on. Like Mark mentioned, Afghanistan was even worse when they withdrew from Afghanistan. It was a total mess. They had lost buddies. They had suffered from PTSD, maybe lost limbs or whatever. So when they saw that going on, it's kind of like, what's going on here? So Mark and I both happy to do it, made a point of reaching out to them, making sure they're doing okay mentally and physically. So
it's more important than people would think, really.
Yeah.
Tom reaching out to them.
Yeah.
Because you kind of get the sense, at first you think, leave them alone. They can handle it. No, they appreciate you saying, hey, it's a buddy check. How you doing?
Well, it's even, they're usually the guys that are doing things for everybody else. So this one guy I contact, he's out in the Seattle area. I contact, he says, Tom, you're the only person that's ever called me. I'm calling out everybody else, and you're the one who calling. It really meant a lot to him. I know you do it too, and I love doing it. You see a lot of veterans walk around with a hat on that signifies, whether they're in the Marines or whatever. And when you go up and shake their hand and say thank you for your service and everything like that, they typically, at first they're kind of shocked, like, what's this guy doing coming up to me? Then once you thank them, they're like, it's pretty cool.
So I want to tell this story, but it's going to ruin the whole point if I tell it, but I'll tell it anyhow. So often, not often, but every once in a while, if I see someone in the restaurant or diner or wherever I am with a veteran's, Vietnam veteran cap on or whatever it might be, Vietnam or Afghanistan or Iraq, there's not too many World War II guys, though. I always pull a waitress over and say, bring me their check.
Oh, yeah.
And then I give it to the guy next to me. No, but yeah. And I don't want to know. I just get up and leave.
I know. And selfishly, it makes you feel good too, right? Like you feel good.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah. I know that's not why you're doing it, but it does make you feel good.
It's not like I'm Daddy Warbucks.
Yeah. Well, it's even more.
In fact, I'm so poor I can't even pay attention.
But it means even more when you don't have a ton of money. It's like if you guys get a bunch of money, you give that away.
It means a lot either way, but yeah. So I gotta be transparent with you, Tom.
No, keep your shirt on. Keep your shirt on.
No, that's gonna say. Oh. Remember how you and I have private conversations about controlling our temper, so to speak. And the other day I go to the field, right? Big artificial turf, people walking around, jogging, doing their thing, right? So I put on the music and I got all my stuff, my stick, my sword, my knife, I'm shadow boxing to James Brown music moving around. And this guy walking on the field, he's wearing a gray t-shirt with black shorts, right? So I see him. And by the way, I had prescription sunglasses on. I took them off so I could move around. And I look across the field and there's a bench there. And this guy's sitting there watching me. And I'm like, what's going on? And like, I'm doing my thing. Every time I look up, he's still sitting there. So I figure, man, so I start walking over, and now I put my glasses on. I could see. And that dude that was squatting on me, watching me, was a big silver garbage can with the black bag hanging out. So I literally almost got into a fight with the garbage can.
So you thought it was a guy walking around?
I thought it was a dude was walking around and sat down on a bench and was just kind of eyeballing me.
Oh, that's funny. So I've got a similar story. Are you done with that one? You done?
Oh yeah, that's enough.
So I'm the same way. So where I go in the morning for my morning march, and I take a video, I get nicer now with the sunrises and everything. So I take pictures of the sunrise and the whole bit. So I'm trying to be really serene, getting out in nature and the whole bit and relaxing because I've just leave the gym where I'm just totally fired up at the gym, right? So I'm trying to calm down. So they have there's a nice, beautiful beach there. Right now, this beach, it's Todd's Point. It's a very exclusive for people from Greenwich, like a lot of towns. But at this time of the year, you can come in, anybody can come in and you can bring your dogs, but you have to have this big sign saying dogs must be on the leash. Well, everybody goes to the beach. They want to have their dog off the leash. Now, it doesn't really matter to me. This is the strange thing about it. It really doesn't affect me in any way. No dogs. I love dogs. I'm not afraid of dogs. No dogs come up and try to bite me or anything. But the other morning, I'm at 6 o'clock. Just got there. It's like 6:10. And this guy comes on the beach with the dog. And it's still kind of dark a little bit. So it kind of shocked me a little bit. So I said, hey, can you put the dog on a leash? He says, you're going to have to call the cops.
Oh, boy.
So I know. And I should not. It's one of those deals I think to myself, Tom, what's the big deal? There's a lot more important things going on in the world. The dog hasn't done anything to me. But of course, I get the dander up a little bit. I'm like, I won't be calling the cops. And he was a little bit overweight, so I made some comments about his weight.
Yeah,
and
you had to.
I wouldn't be calling the cops. I'd be dealing with him directly and all this kind of stuff. And of course, I'm walking away, going on my march now. And I'm thinking, Tom, what are you doing? Like, what an idiot!
Yeah.
Like you're looking at the garbage can, like getting
Yeah.
better. So
Yeah. Get all jacked up over a garbage can.
I know, but I don't know. Maybe that's.
And I think the worst part, though, Tom, I think the can would have won.
No,
that's the worst part.
So it's important to every once in a while, as a man, you need to kind of get that out of your
Reestablish.
system. Yeah, exactly. Prove that you're still a dangerous man, right?
Yeah, and thank God it was a garbage can.
Yeah,
no feelings were hurt.
This poor guy too. I almost like it was dark, so I don't know if I can even remember this guy that was on the beach. But I almost feel bad. Like I should be going up to him and saying, "I'm sorry."
Yeah, but you know what? I'm not defending you, but he kind of brought it on himself.
Yeah, I just think it's kind of.
He started it, so
yeah, and I just think it's kind of selfish because not everybody is a dog lover. What if the dog bites somebody? I'm sure everybody is saying, "Listen, my dog has never bit anybody." But
well, it's pretty simple. The rule is it's supposed to be leashed. It's supposed to be leashed. Because the danger in that too is, what if you're walking your dog on a leash and that dog attacks your dog?
I know
that's another.
The problem, and I joked around with Kevin Allen this morning doing the show too. The problem I have is that you're right; they're breaking the law. They shouldn't be doing that. Yeah. But then when the speed limit sign says 55, and I look down at my speedometer and it's going 80, I'm thinking, man, I broke the law too.
Yeah, so. Exactly. True that.
Yeah.
So what's going to happen today? What do you think?
Well, I don't. The Rangers supposedly were doing a lot of talking to a lot of people about some of the players that have already been traded. That Giordano, Pavelski in Dallas, who ultimately signed a contract there in Dallas. His name was linked to the Rangers. So there doesn't appear to be a whole lot more out there that maybe could help the Rangers. There is this young defenseman Chychrun that's in Arizona.
Yeah,
he's an attractive player because he's a big, good defenseman, probably top 4. He's on 2 more years on his deal at a relatively good price. So he'd be an attractive guy to have. I didn't realize this. Kevin was telling me this morning. They're looking for 4 first-round equivalents. So a player that it's either a first-round pick or a player that was a first-round pick or a player that is in that category. So I don't think the Rangers would do that. Though
I don't think there's really that much needed on the blue line. Do you?
Yeah. Well, they had a tough night yesterday against Carolina. Carolina outshot them like 45 to whatever. And if you really watch the game, a lot of but listen, it was the second game in like 18 hours. They played the night before, a really tough game against Tampa, flew into Carolina. So I really never noticed any problems with the defense other than yesterday. So maybe that was just that one game thing from not having much.
I'd be interested to know what Brendan Duffy's read on that is.
Oh, that's right. Oh, that's right. Here's and Brian Duffy.
No, Brian Duffy? Yeah, I think it's Brendan Duffy, but I'd be interested to see.
Brian, the brain is like any other body organ.
Oh, it is Brian Duffy.
See, like, thanks.
Oh no, this is Brian Duffy. Brain.
Yeah, Brendan is the sleep expert, correct?
Brendan's the sleep expert. Brian must be a veteran, and if you are, Brian, we thank you for your service.
Yes, thank you, Brian, very much.
Yeah.
So, what did we want Brendan to chime in on?
Well, because you and I and Brendan have had this conversation about the whole sleep issue and how it affects your performance.
Oh, that's right. And it's Brendan's brother. Wow.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Nice to meet you, Brian.
But yeah, and again, I want to be clear. I know you're the same way. So Brendan is a really believer in sleep and how important it is.
Well, that's his education, yeah.
Right. And we don't agree at all with the science. It's just that in our mind, if we end up getting 4 hours of sleep, it's almost like an inspiration to go harder, right? So, like, and I agree. Like all this talk, like John Tortorella was big at this. There's all this talk now in pro sports about playing, particularly sports like basketball and hockey, playing back-to-back games and how much of a disadvantage you're at in the second of back-to-back games. Apparently the statistics show that it's the truth.
Yeah.
But I think it's more that self-fulfilling prophecy because everybody keeps telling these guys now how tired they're going to be in the second game. So they believe they're tired. I just always remembered nobody ever told us we were going to be tired. So I just didn't believe I was tired. So I'm not saying it's that simple, but I think we could talk ourselves into things. Don't you think?
Yeah, I think, well, look, the science is the science, and Brendan's a very educated man, and I agree with him. But I wonder my question is, to your point, if you can overcome it just by sheer determination.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just don't.
Maybe you can't. I don't know. Maybe it affects your central nervous system and your performance level that tremendously.
I just seem to find so I'm up early going to the gym, so I'm in the gym at 4:30, and I just know that when I'm driving to the gym, if I haven't had a whole lot of sleep the night before, or if I've had a couple of adult beverages, or whatever, I just feel like I turn the music off and I just focus. And I'm saying to myself, okay, I
Yeah.
need to be zoned in. I find sometimes I even get a better workout because I'm forcing myself to be that much more
Right.
concentrating.
Well, it gets back to what you and I were talking about before the show about just being that explosive person with everything you do all day long.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's true. Very
You know,
true.
getting the groceries out of the car, or just really being explosive, and instead of mamby-pamby, just getting through the day, just attack the day and beat the crap out of it. Yeah.
Even little things like we're both, people are going to think we're sick, but we're both into like, if you're going to take a shower after the workout, so you take a nice warm shower, get yourself all comfortable in there, and then just crank that sucker all the way down. So just pure cold water coming out of there. And it's, you're right. You get to the point where you first start doing it, you're like, oh, Tom, why are you doing this? Nobody else sees you doing it, but that's really the push on it, right? So
I kind of look forward to it now.
I know. And apparently doing my homework, and I know you know this, it really boosts helps boost your immune system as well. So.
Yeah, if anybody's interested in either the sleep science, you can contact Brendan Duffy. I think if you go on the internet, you'll find him easily. If you can't, get a hold of me because I can get you to Brendan. And then Wim Hof. So it's spelled W-I-M. That's his first name, Wim Hof, H-O-F. He's got bazillion things on YouTube and books and everything on this whole cold showers and cold swims and all that kind of stuff.
Right.
Yeah. And it absolutely
and sum it up,
improves your immune system.
It's mainly for the immune system, or are there other benefits for it?
There are other benefits, but the strongest reaction your body gets is a stronger immune system.
Oh, well.
But I feel like I go in there, I'm a little bit tired, and it's all nice and warm, and then I turn it on. It takes a second to get cold, and you go, here it comes, and you go, oh,
I know.
And then you go,
I know
it's not that bad. And then you start lasting a little longer each time.
Yes. And I live in a condominium complex, so sometimes the water is colder than others.
Exactly.
Like now I've got to the point where I'm almost mad where it isn't cold enough. Like it's
exactly.
You feel like you're not getting as much out of it when it's just kind of.
But it's a little bit of a challenge to see how long you can stay in there before you bail.
Sick.
And it's
sick.
getting longer and longer.
What is?
The amount of time I can. No, that's a medical mystery. It's actually, I'm surprised I even had kids. It's incredible. I don't know how it happened.
All right, brother. Good to see you. All right, trade deadline
have
is
a great day.
3 o'clock this afternoon. So we'll see you next week. We'll talk about some of the trades.
Yeah.
Good to see you.
Oh, always.